I think we're live now. Peace, family. Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Kojo Shabazz in the building. And I think this will be a good class for everybody. This is one of my favorites, as y'all know. You know, when somebody be asking some weird stuff. Hopefully everybody's doing well this evening. Let me get some things situated. Put your birth card in the chat. We might have time to do the Speed Cosmos show. So just FYI, we will be doing that. Hold on a second. Peace, family. Peace. We gonna get the energies right, making sure y'all find the appropriate person you want to be courting with tonight. So bring all the questions that you have in regards of courting and just being intentful with what you actually want. So we'll go over some of those guidelines and just examples in real time that I think people kind of overlook. Let me try to get this set up and then we'll get started. All right, so we got Jack of Spades, 9 of Clubs in the building. Yup. Entrepreneurship, major communication in the building. Let's see. There's one more thing I gotta do. Peace, family. Peace. You're in the building. Drop your birth card in the chat. We may have time for Speak Cosmos Show. And again, that doesn't just relate to just couples, singles. It could be married people. It could be anything. There's a whole purpose behind the Speak Cosmos Show. So drop your birth card in the chat and we'll get that situated. I'm just trying to get set up real quick. Apologies for the delay on my part. Let's see. How we feeling? How y'all feeling this evening? All right. Let me get this thing started. So, Corey. Let me get this situated. Oh no. I think that one got screwed up. Yeah, it did. Courting with bum. Purpose. Drop your birth card. Yep. The chief in the building. Y'all, you already know. I got to send you the link and we'll get that cracking after I go through the presentation. So let's see. With purpose. Let's see. I know this is different because you're like, damn, it's a fucking Wednesday. Yes, it's a Wednesday, y'all. Peace. You in the building. All right, we're going to get this started. I think I'm all situated on here. It might be the right one. It might not be the right one, but we'll find out. All right, let me get this thing started. Let me share my screen, y'all, so y'all can see what I'm working with. All right. So let me hit the next thing. All right, these are the topics for tonight, right? I know y'all like, man, go back to money. We will go back to money as soon as I am out of that phase of, this is my last phase of relationship. So I'm in that jack of hearts. So I'm trying to make sure everybody stays straight. All right. So courting with purpose, building intentional relationships. And then we also got the Speak Cosmos show towards the end. Speaking of which, I need to send that to you, don't I? Mm-hmm. Let me just send that to you. I'll just send that via email. Man, class. But yeah, you can come at the end. And all right. So we got that situated. All right. So quick highlights. We got to make sure we highlight these things. We have the August 6th. We have an event in Houston, the cacao ceremony, right? In Houston, Texas, that Brother Simney is hosting. We also got the summit in August, Atlanta, Georgia, August 15th through the 17th, right? It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be awesome. And then we also have a Hawaii Regional Swing in Houston, September the 13th. And then I'm sure there's other events that are going to be going along the way as well. But we also have the Honor Ball, which is Peace Family. Y'all already know. If y'all want to see the screen of what I'm looking at, always go to YouTube. We have the Honor Ball December 28th through the 31st. So that's going to be dope. So bring your spouses. This is the whole point of why you want to be courting people. You want to be make sure you qualify people. You're making your way to progression and things of that nature. So you can go do nice events and stuff like that, right? And then these are just some of the links to check out as far as, just getting to know certain information and stuff like that and just seeing what events we got going on, right? All right. You already know I always talk about this, but we got the Tribal Jurist course on sale. Definitely go to shabazassociates.com. You'll see all that info. All right. Let's talk about courting with purpose. I know that y'all like, man, I get tired of seeing this screen, Kojo. It's a good guide, and there's a specific reason why I keep showing this, right? Because you'll see why I'm laying all this stuff out. It's crazy. But men, you got to have the environment to create, right? You got to have the environment so that you have the space for women to just thrive and give that feminine energy, right? And women have a role to play, just like you have a role to play. Use cosmology as a guide. We always talk about Maslow's hierarchy. Very important. Psychological needs need to be met. If you ain't eating well, if you don't have a house, if you don't have money, you are not going to even get to see what yourself actually looks like. So we always talk about that first. All right. So now that we're going to do that, obviously, this is how you find your birth card, but we also have it where you can just look at a chart. So I won't spend too much time on that. All right. This is what I want to get to first. All right. So let me stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to show a different screen. Peace, family. I see you on here. I'm going to say peace, peace, peace. Whoops. Let me share my screen so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. I thought this shit was crazy to me. All right, so I'm gonna share this screen, and y'all can tell me what y'all think, but let me share this screen right here. It's a Brave tab. All right, can y'all see my screen? I'm about to hit refresh. All right.
What do you do?
I just graduated from USF, Go Bulls, as a doctor for anesthesia.
Let me refresh this page. I'm gonna hit this.
I just graduated from USF, Go Bulls, as a doctor.
First of all, you see what it says 35 old man graduates from UFC as a doctor of anesthesiology. Women rejects him because he's not well seasoned and financially stable. All right,
for anesthesia.
Nice, so, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a doctor in the house.
Catherine, 31.
Okay, Catherine, why'd you end up popping your balloon?
I know you said you're a doctor, and I think that's great.
Wait. All right. Yeah, I know y'all like, well, what's this got to do? It has. Oh, peace, God. You in the building. Peace, 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 peace. You in the building. What does this have to do with what I'm about to show? I'm about to tell you. Just keep watching.
I know you said you recently graduated school, something.
Recently graduated. Now, if anyone knows what anesthesiologists make, they make in the range of $350 minimum as the baseline.
Along the lines of that, and I'm looking for someone a little bit more seasoned in their career, a little bit more financially stable and things of that nature. So
Now you're gonna have to make this make sense to me, right? If he's already out the gate making 350, right? 350K. How is he not stable?
I did appreciate everything you said. It's just that
Oh no. What? Not financially stable. All right, you're gonna have to make that make sense to me, because like just one more time, like just for people, just like
I'm 35.
And what do you do?
35.
I just graduated from USF, Go Bulls,
Just graduated.
as a doctor for anesthesia.
Nice,
So,
congratulations.
thank you, thank you.
Okay, we got a doctor in the house.
Catherine, 31.
Okay, Catherine, why'd you end up popping your balloon?
I know you said you're a doctor, and I think that's great. I know you said you recently graduated school, something along the lines of that. And I'm looking for someone a little bit more seasoned in their career, a little bit more financially stable and things of that nature. So I did appreciate everything you said. It's just that
Man, hey, listen, I don't even know what that is, what she just said. Yo, peace, family, you in the building. Why am I showing you this? Well, first of all, I know this person, right? Went to school with this brother. You know, that's my twin. And peace, family, you in the building. I know this dude. So when I say that this is a joke, it's a joke. Like, these people are not even serious about their intentions of why they're even actually on the show. Because that makes no sense. Because if the person who just graduated as an anesthesiologist, who's making 350K off the gate, already has work. Peace. Already has work. I'm gonna take this off the screen. Already has work. He's already making money. Got a bonus and everything. And you talking about you're looking for somebody who's well seasoned in career. Whew, Lord have mercy. It's just the logic, the intent, like it don't even make sense. So that's what I'm talking about as far as like people don't even know what they're actually looking for. You're looking for somebody well seasoned. You tell me what that actually really means. He went to school. He's been working as a nurse. So he already is well seasoned. He just went to school to get, a degree in anesthesiology so that he can actually increase his revenue. So you make it make sense to me. Well seasoned. All right. So this is what happens when there's no jurisdiction. Like, you are just straight up guessing. You're going off of, I don't even really know what she was really going off of. But just straight guessing is what that is. No real purpose. There's no real knowledge. Could even put that this man is making money. So it can't really be about the money or the sex. Again, just no structure or guidance. This is the whole thing. So you can go watch that video and you can see what I'm talking about. But like, I actually know him, right? Very well. Know him very well. Like, it don't make no sense. And this person, never mind. And I don't want to be rude, but like, this person is I think she's like a hotel receptionist. Looking for somebody well seasoned. God, just make it make sense, y'all. All right. I won't belittle the point. All right. Courtship with a purpose, building intention. So I got to give y'all some of the statistics stuff because I think this is like very important. I don't think people really see what's really happening. But you see where it says Black adults, quote unquote, I have to use that. About 25 plus, 32% are currently married compared to 54% of white adults. So we're talking about, like, we're not even talking about staying married. According to them, we have the lowest marriage rate out of all, and you'll see the chart, right? So, and then you got 48% of adults, Black adults, Aboriginal adults, that have never been married, right? Or just, anyway. So I'm still perplexed about well seasoned. So I'm just looking at like, what? All right. So we talked about the marriage rates, right? So this is the reality, right? And this is where you can see from black men, black women, 32, 31, the medium age of the first marriage, right? And then obviously after that, half of them are never married. So here's like the marriage by race and then the divorce rate. The divorce rate is extremely high. And again, there's a lot of things that are not in place to govern or guide these people. So they need a jurisdiction. They need codes. They need structure. They need families. They need guidance counselors. So that way they're not on their own. They're not on an island, and that's why it takes a tribe, right? It takes a family to like literally build up a marriage. So they say, according to the statistics, that Black adults experience higher divorce rates than their other counterparts. 60 to 70% end in divorce, the first one. That's higher than the national average, according to them, right? So when you have stuff like this, right? Let me go back to my page. You have stuff like this, well seasoned.
I'm 35.
And what do you do?
I just
35. I mean, listen. All right, let me go back. Keep y'all focused. All right. Also, what I think that also plays a role is what people are making. What are people bringing into the household? I mean, we got people who are living below the poverty level, which I think is, if I'm not mistaken, 50,000 right now. That's the medium. And anything below that is in the poverty level. So 32, 40, and economics is a big reason why people, have issues in their marriage or just in their relationships in general. Like, you can't do certain things. You're not able to fund certain things, or you're not like, and, everybody has their season where you go through, periods of being broke. But if you're like poor, that's a mindset. So you have to fix the poor mindset. If you think that you will never get ahead, then you will surely not get ahead. If you don't think you deserve better, you won't deserve better. You're like, hold on, brother, but you're throwing statistics. I'm throwing statistics because this is how they've been quantifying people. Single versus married. People who are below in the 50K are single in high numbers. As you get higher in the income range, you start to see that the single is not as high as it used to be. So this is just stuff to think about. I know you're like, well, can you tell us like what we actually need to be doing? I will. But the other thing that I want to make sure that we also talk about is why the courtship process is kind of jaded, is because they've been introducing drugs into the situation, right? So we got the crack era. We're dealing with the fentanyl situation and opioid epidemic, plus the pandemic that has occurred and been planned, right? That has introduced a whole nother thing, making people, wirelessly connected, not naturally, but, anyway. So the war on drugs is what they would classify this. And the reality is that this has all been part of the landscape. These are crafted institutions, things put in place to keep us separated and not forming families. That's literally the thing. So if you're not courting nobody, you don't want to court nobody, or you haven't found somebody to court, things of that nature, like a lot of these things can be resolved with a jurisdiction that gives you the space to really court, and we'll talk about some of that stuff. So, but just keep some of these, systematic institutions in mind, right? The ISIS papers, right? Like y'all read that book, right? So, all right, here's some more statistics. There are some of y'all who are cohabitating, meaning you live with somebody and you're not even planning on being married. And you can get married, but you don't want to be married as a 14th Amendment citizen. That's one thing you don't want to be doing. Don't be married as a 14th Amendment citizen, because then your marriage belongs to the state, right? Point blank, period. I know some of y'all are like, oh, I don't mind, Kojo. Like I need assurance that tribal marriage, but like, what does that mean? Huh? Listen, we have the documentation. You can have a ceremony if you want to within the tribe. There's a process for that. You can choose the colors that fit the scheme for the day and then the season. You get a marriage certificate document, and like you can present that as a form of proving that you've been married. So what people don't think is real actually is an option. You can see that you can actually do that. So don't be sleeping on what we actually do. You said, hold on, you said, damn, too late for me now. How can you change it? Well, that is a discussion that I think you would have with your wife, right? So, or your partner, right? So, one, hopefully both of you are nationalized, right, into the tribe. And again, when I'm speaking of these remedies, I'm talking about from the standpoint of ARNA, our tribal government. So both of you are nationalized. Everybody's done their thing. If you're keeping the name, that's okay. But we always encourage you to, change your name and stuff like that for specific reasons and stuff like that. But let's say, everything's copacetic, whether you change your name or you don't, you change your name, you go to the court order, get a court order name change for the both of y'all to make sure y'all's names match. Boom, done. So then you would pay to get a certificate of marriage within ARNA. You fill out an intake and stuff like that. But you would go through the process of going through counseling, through a cosmologist. Then you could also work with the minister of family and community, and they can take you through the council sessions, or a cosmologist can do it. Either way, then you would figure out and get an understanding of who each other is, like we talked about at the beginning. Knowing your cosmology is very important. And once you do that, then you would form a trust for the both of y'all, or a tribal FBO, whichever one. And then you would obviously cancel or rescission that old contract with the state that, you guys got a divorce, whatever. And it shouldn't be anything, no major issues, because you guys have a marriage certificate within the tribe. You're just canceling that old agreement with the state. So therefore, ain't no reason for none of that. And then boom, you're good to go. That way, it ain't weird, it ain't funny, it's nothing crazy. But that's generally the process. You want to rescission that old contract. So peace, family. I want to do a ceremony. We did it privately at a beach within friends, no court documents. Yeah, definitely you can do a ceremony within the tribe. We usually do it. It's usually held at the summits, and Chief is the one that kind of orchestrates it. So what you can do is, like, you can pick your own colors and stuff like that. I'm trying to think of what else goes into it. So you pick your colors, you'll pick the season, whichever the polarities. You obviously select your covenant keepers. That's also important. Make sure you select your covenant keepers, and that's some of the stuff we'll talk about. There's going to be data gathering, because obviously we need that for the marriage certificate, the tribal marriage certificate. Trying to think of some other things that you would probably need to know. And then once we tell you that, okay, there'll be the part one of the marriage ceremony would be basically a prayer or opening from Chief, welcoming the community, discussing the meaning of marriage, the duties of the wife, duties of a mother, men's covenant keepers, duties of the marriage, duties of a husband, duties of the father. Then the Chief does, the announcement of the bride and groom. Y'all enter. They, y'all get addressed. You'll have the oath, and then post libation, seed planting. And then that's kind of the gist of it. So that's kind of like the ceremony that could be done at the summit. You said our anniversary is September 16th. I know. Trying to think. sometimes I've seen it where sometimes they can be exceptions, but I'm pretty sure for the most part, unless that's written, that chief would be able to do something like that. But again, you would just have to see if that's something that could be done and be orchestrated, because it's an indigenous ceremony. And I think you also have to do like fasting for 3 to 7 days and stuff like that. But yeah, that's something that can be done. I think you just have to see if chief is available to do it. So, but hopefully that answers that question. But that's cool though. You can definitely do that. So, trying to think. Oh, let me finish this point. I know y'all like Kojo. Stay on track. So the cohabitation. The cohabitation is so important because some people literally are having children. And I know y'all like, well, the minute you get married, then it changes the dynamic. That's superstition. I don't know why people believe in superstition. But there is an energy that does come with it, but hopefully it should be the part of the plan, right? Like this is part of growth. Like you have to grow to the next level. Can't stay the same. So some people choose to like, yeah, listen, I'm shacking up with the old lady and, we gonna be chilling. We gonna be cooling. Y'all had 3-4 kids and no type of commitment has been made. And it's like, and then, the question is, well, where are we? You're like, yeah, man, you my old lady. Oh, okay. Well, what I mean is like when you actually marry somebody, you are actually committed. You are in it to win it, and you ain't going nowhere, right? So again, that's just something to keep in mind. And then non-marital births, a lot of people are being, birthed out of wedlock, and so again, that leads to single parenthood because there's no commitment. Like when you committed to somebody, like you ain't going nowhere. Like it could be, challenging times, but like, what you are in the relationship for, what y'all both signed up for. Y'all know what y'all committed to on paper, contractually, right? So it's just stuff like that you want to keep in mind, right? All right. I think this is also important. I know you're like, damn, all these fucking statistics. 57 people, 57 Black children, quote unquote, live in a single parent household. It's the highest. This is the highest. Now obviously this stuff is starting to increase and stuff like that over time, but like as of today, it's 57%. And then multi-generational living, that means you have multi-generations in a household or maybe on a compound or just, somewhere nearby. 25% is in our household because some people don't know who their grandparents are. Some people don't know who they, father is or their mother, because for whatever reason, whether maybe death or just, it didn't work out or the person just left, all that, many different reasons. But we have to change that. And that I can tell you ways that will fix that in real time. All right. Now that we got through those numbers, I'm like, ooh, man, brother, not the numbers. What is courtship, y'all? You need to know where you're going. So this is the intentional dating. This is not, let me use my favorite clip. This is going to be the clip of the night. It ain't this. Let me take this off screen. It ain't this. It's not this. This is not.
Just graduated from USF, Go Bulls, as a doctor for.
This is not it. I'm telling you that right now. That is not it. Right? These people are not even there to look for love. They're looking for fame. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for fame. They're not even here to date. They're here to get clout. They're like, oh, this got good. Who's this? Oh, okay. This got good platform, so I can utilize this to promote my business or promote that I'm a model or promote this, promote that. They're not even really looking for love. So that's not courtship, right? The whole point is that there is a goal that you're trying to get to, lifelong partnership or marriage, or however you want to define that. But really, it should be commitment of marriage. Like you guys are committing to be married, right? And there's a difference between boyfriend and girlfriend, y'all. Boyfriend and girlfriend is that westernized, like, yo, man, we kind of cooling it, one night stand, we just chilling. Really, we just kind of whimsical with it. There's no purpose behind it, essentially. There's lack of commitment and there's lack of values. So you like lack of values. Yeah. And there's no boundary set. So that means people could be dealing with multiple people and they're not even being upfront about that. Some people are like, multiple people? No, I thought we was it was just you and me. And then they find out, oh, it's not just you and me. It's other people in you and me. So setting these boundaries is important. What is the intent behind it? The intent is so important because it's like, why are we even together? Why are we getting together in the first place? Well, let me look at y'all for a second. When I tell y'all, I've counseled people and they are like, I ask them one question: what is the intent? Why did y'all even get together? They're like, circumstance. I said, not circumstance. Discipline. This is another key thing, is discipline. I know people don't want to hear discipline. They're like, discipline? What? Huh? Discipline, because that means you have enough self-control. You have enough self-control to keep yourself from doing dumb shit. Like really dumb stuff that's going to mess up your relationship. So if you see a girl, as an example, you see a girl and if you're in a monogamous courtship, or let's say monogamous courtship. So that means you're not exploring polygyny. And a girl comes up to you, the guy, and they're like, yo, I think, I really find you cute, find you attractive. You think you want to, hang out sometime. You would have the discipline, the dick discipline to say, no, I'm in a relationship. Even if you're married, you think it stops when you get married. It does not stop. It actually increases. So you need to have the discipline to say, no, I'm committed to this relationship. Now, if you're in a polygyny relationship, that's a different story. But you still have to share that, hey, there's somebody who's interested in, being in a polygynous relationship. Let's qualify them via cosmology and see if it makes sense. Not let me go ahead and, dabble in my toe or two in the back end, not say nothing because we are, polygynous. And like that stuff is corny. That stuff is weird. That shows you don't have the discipline, and you weren't truthful to in the beginning, right? You weren't intent. There was no intent behind why you're even in the relationship, right? Does that make sense, y'all? All right. Why am I telling y'all you need to choose courtship? I know you're like, ooh, Coach, no, don't. When you do this, it's different from boyfriend or girlfriend. That means you're going to have clarity about everybody's intention. There ain't going to be no guessing. So when somebody says, hey, man, I was only in it for the sex. So when you got somebody who's ripping and raving like this.
Chocolate? Did you say chocolate?
Yes, sir. With or without nuts.
Chocolate? Chocolate!
When you got somebody raving like that, they're like, oh, I thought this was just like, we just friends with benefits, You're not confused when they hit you with, oh, we just friends, right? You're not confused at all because you have clarity. You and them chose to enter into a courtship contractually. Like, all right, we about to step into this and we about to do this. And we're going to do this honestly and respectfully. That means there ain't going to be no one night stand. There ain't going to be none of this stuff. And it just, again, the whole point is that it reduces the confusion and heartbreak. That's the whole point that we're trying to reduce, is the heartbreak and emotional confusion. When somebody is not committed to you, you will know, because it is very clear that they're like, yeah, I don't see you that way. Or you're not even on paper anything. So when you're in the environment that promotes the strong foundation of friendship, especially in a jurisdiction such as ARNA that promotes that, That's the whole point of what I'm saying. So with the rites of passage, with the sons of the shrine, the daughters of the shrine, these environments promote that, where there's no hard feelings if it doesn't work out. It's built off of friendship. So even if it doesn't work out, there's no hard feelings. People can still grow and move on. That's the whole point. And the big thing is that people are on the same code. You're like, on the same code. Yes, the same code. So somebody's like, yo, man. So sister, so if one of the brothers is like, yo, man, I see you married, you know, you should leave that dude and da-da-da. You need to hit him with the hell no to the no. Right? You hit him with that, because it's like, what are you talking about? And then, matter of fact, you report them. You report them, because it's like, what are you doing? That's weird. Like, I'm married, right? So that's the whole point. Making sure that everybody's on code. And when you have a constitution, you have a contract, you have a jurisdiction that promotes and facilitates the courtship process, that's key. Right? I know you're like, Coach, come on, brother. All right. We got to stop using these people as it's almost like we use them as the standard. You know, in the past where we're like, yeah, man, Papoose, Remy Ma, that black love that just don't never fade. And you see how it is cracking. What? Whew. Hate to be that brother, because, man, he was like, yeah, man, I did this, that, and the third. And she's like, man, fuck you. I don't even, blah, blah, blah. And I did it on my own anyway. And you just, what are we doing? What are we really doing? So you mean all that time? Because people were idolizing. They're like, yeah, man, they together for a long time, together in dysfunction. And we already know this one right here, Will Smith and Jada. Same thing, together in dysfunction. Together in dysfunction. It's like, why are y'all even together? Y'all said that y'all were legally separated. It's like, what? Separated? They've been separated for 6 years. What? But yet people are like, yeah, that Will and Jada love. You know what I mean? Like, I want that Will and Jada love. And it's like, do you really want that when somebody's like blasting you in public and embarrassing you and doing all types of, you don't want that. Again, that's people who are not on code. That means the contract is not being honored. Somebody's not following their obligations, whatever the case is. It's all dysfunctional. So we can't use them as a standard. We have to set our own standard. That's the whole point of why I'm even bringing that up. We have to set our own standard and hold ourselves accountable to that standard. Does that make sense? Y'all follow me? Let me know if y'all think I'm talking crazy tonight. Like, if y'all think, hey, Coach, like, go to sleep, my G. Go to sleep. But let me know. I think that's important. So we use them as a standard. It really shouldn't be the case. All right. So I would call these, here's some strategies, right? These are strategies, I think. And, you tell me if this is not a good idea. Some basic questions that I think people need to ask, apart from some of the stuff that we already talked about, like whether you got the poke, right? That's the first question. Don't even go past if they know what have you done with the poke. Have you been with somebody with the poke? Are you willing to go through a detox method? Because of that, right? That's important. In honor, that's law, right? New couples have to go through that. Because it, again, removes the parasites, removes all that stuff from them, right? Anyway, so are you interested in getting to know me with the intention of seeing if we align long-term commitment-wise? It's a question in general, like, listen, what is your intentions in general? What do you believe about marriage and family? This is important. Like, if a person, I'll give y'all an example. I remember there was a person that I was courting, and this damn near ended. It did end it. I said, what do you think about having children? She said, children? Huh? That's barbaric.
Stop it. Get some help.
I said, barbaric. barbaric. Well, like, do you mean like you don't want to have children? Like, I just want to know, clarify that. Like, you want to have children or you don't want to have children? It's barbaric and I don't want to have children. Huh? I'm like, well, how did you get here? Do you know how you got here? She was like, yeah, it was a very barbaric process. I said, huh? Okay. And that was the end of that. I kid y'all not. I was not wasting time with that because I was like, how did I miss that? Right? Like people will say things and you'll find out like, damn, I really should not have been messing with this person to begin with. So anyway, ask questions. I know other things like let's say you make it past. Now you guys are in a committed relationship. You should do some monthly check-ins, family meetings, cosmology readings. You know, that is important. You need to check in with the other person because if you don't check in and you assume that this person is okay, you're going to find out the hard way that they're not okay. And they like, yeah, I haven't been okay. You didn't notice? I'm like, what? Didn't notice? Didn't notice? What are you talking about? So it's good to do that stuff, right? Another question that you may ask in general, what does financial stability look like for us or for you? Because I know what it looks like for me. You can do date ideas like, you know, visit a black business market, right? What I would call black business market. Do a, you know, cosmology session together or volunteer at, you know, within your local jurisdiction or at honor events, right? This is things that you can do as date nights to get to know each other, see how y'all work together, how y'all interact with other people in the tribe. These are things I'm just trying to get y'all like, it doesn't just have to be one or the other. I'm just trying to throw out ideas of just like, this is being intentful with your courtships, right? Once you make it past the beginning stages, you obviously have committed, you're married now, stuff like that. Like these are things that you want to do. You want to go to other tribe family events, stuff like that, right? So this is for single people. Like you're like, oh, well, where can I meet people? Like, you know, I don't see nobody in the tribe, Kojo. I don't see nobody in the tribe. There's people here. So there's always people here. Yo, peace, family. You in the building. Hope all is well on your end. Chamber of Commerce. For those who like money, who like making money, like knowing what's going on in their area. Like if you're in your area, you should be knowing what's going on. Like I'm in Dallas. I know what's going on in Dallas. I know how much money has been poured into Dallas over the past 4 years. Even before that, before I even came to Texas, I knew there was a lot of money being poured in here. So Chamber of Commerce, you can meet other people. You can go to professional associations like NSBE conferences or I think they have MBA conferences where it's like or Black Masters, I forget, business association conferences and stuff like that. The whole point is that there's different associations like that you can attend, especially if you have the interest and you have the certification behind you, and just go meet different people because there's single people who attend these events. I've been there before, and you'll find them there. Like that's the whole point. Like you gotta, if you say there's nobody in honor, which you know I'm gonna always look at you like this. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll give you a pass. Then you're like, okay, well, where did I look, Kojo? You can look at these different places that you can go. So even like book clubs, like if you, hopefully y'all like reading, or just different, you know, culture circles. Like, you know, there's like different events. Like there's like, you know, Japanese Fest or, you know, Reggae Fest or, you know, Afro Soco. You know, they're different events that are going that you can attend, right? You got fitness classes, dance classes, cultural festivals. They have groups for like Black travel clubs, like people, there's like specifically where people go on these cruises that's adults only. And, you know, they travel together, right? And there's singles. You can also do the conferences. I'm always going to say these, you know, these are conferences like, you know, the summit that's getting ready to come up in August. You got the cacao ceremony, you know, you got the powwow, you got the ball. I mean, it's different things that you can do to show up, right? But you're like, okay, well, Kojo, I'm not really interested in that. You're like, okay. What about the online thing, Kojo? There's Black Love Relationship Facebook groups. There's Black Single Connection Facebook groups. There's also the Speed Cosmo Show. I'm gonna put that out there. There's always the Speed Cosmo Show. So I'm trying to get y'all to think outside the box. Like you're like, and you know, some of these things cost money. It's not even cost. It's like you're investing. You have to invest in things that, you know, and we'll talk about investment. Some of y'all don't even realize there is investment in courtship, right? So what are some of the courtship key principles? You know, I'm not trying to keep y'all long on here for too long, but I just want to make sure y'all are aware, man. Self-awareness is key. That's the big thing. Knowing your values, your goals, your boundaries, and being able to set out that. The book of you can get that. You need to understand your book of you. It's key. It's crazy. The She Wave formula. You can get in contact with us and we can help you with that. Or you can get with a cosmologist. It doesn't matter whether you get with us or you get with the Hidden Cosmic Leap Village. You can get with Yogi and his team, and they'll get you situated. Or you can get with Brother Simney. You can get with Brother Bach, Chief. It doesn't matter. The whole point is that you need to get a reading so you understand exactly where you at. Shared vision. Life direction. Some of y'all don't know where you are going, even in current relationships. Some of y'all have been dating for 4 years, and then the question, that's why you always see sometimes pop up when people are like, well, where is this going? And some people give them the ultimatum. Y'all need to discuss economics, courtship. Sometimes you need to involve mentors or family members or, you know, what you call it, the covenant keepers. You need to involve them, right? Not learning from your past lineages. This is important too. You know who's about to be learning from their past lineage? Listen, I'm gonna show this. I gotta be showing this all night. This person.
Anesthesia.
Nice.
So,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
we got doctor in the house.
Catherine, 31.
This person is about to be learning from their lineage forever. Crazy. Because they don't understand. So anyway, and then just making, you know, and being intentional with your time, focusing on meaningful interactions. That's key thing. Contracts, jurisdiction. When you know who you're dealing with, you don't even have to guess. So you tap into the light field. We're talking about quantum mechanics. If you really want somebody to appear in your space, you see yourself in a happy, healthy relationship, see that in your mind's eye, and it will happen. But you also have to do the work by attending the events, putting yourself in situations where you do meet somebody, right? Like it doesn't just happen just sitting in your house or on the couch. All right. I do have to talk about these things because I know there's stages. There are stages. When you're in courtship, there are stages. You're in the friendship observation. That means you in test trial mode. You're like, ooh, okay. We still have the intent of courting, but like where, you know, I need to see how you interact with other people, how you behave. You know, what do you do when you get angry or you upset, or you need to observe, and everybody needs to observe. Do you get really, really mad and, you know, do weird stuff? So you go to group settings, you go to the gym, you go to birth conference, you go to the summit, you know, all these things. And then you explore the compatibility at the same time, because you do need a cosmology reading to get better insight and better intelligence on who you're actually dealing with versus just guessing, because a lot of people are guessing. And then the major thing that people just that they need to understand is, what are they doing? Are they doing polygyny or monogamy? Which both are legal in our jurisdiction, you know. But some people can't even answer this question. They getting money from somebody else while having a significant other. Some people getting some side piece on the side, and they have somebody at home. What are we doing? And then the big thing is commitment and intentionality, right? that's where the contracts come into place. And then engagement preparations and stuff like that, right? So I won't spend too much time. But these are the stages, right? To kind of give you a guide. All right. The bride price. It's supposed to be symbolic, y'all. This is gift giving. It just has a price attached to it. You can either pay now or you pay later. Some people don't think they're gonna have to. They like, man, I shouldn't have to pay nothing. Like I should offer nothing. This person should love me for me. Man, we are in 2025, and this has always been the thing that there is always a price tag, right? So again, it don't have to be nothing crazy, but you put your name, you put the bride, you put a representative, tribal jurist, right? And you could put the amount you're willing to contribute, and it don't mean it could be land, it could be all this stuff. Like you have assets, or hopefully you have assets at this point, but you get the point. Like it shows that you're committed to their family and that you're really here on good intentions. So whether you give that to the bride or the bride's family, that's entirely your decision. But basically, there should be money set aside for the bride or the family. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, I just think that's important. So this is a sample, right? But the idea is that it's supposed to be symbolic. That shows you're committed. You're not here to goof around. That you're committed, right? All right. I have to talk about this because this is my favorite thing. I don't know why this is not shown. But the first one's supposed to be heart. So communication versus unhealthy communication. Hearts can be very passive if they're not expressing what really needs to be expressed. But they also have family expectations. So that's really the key thing. Family expectation or just relationship expectations. Clubs. You sometimes can talk in circles instead of getting to the point. Sometimes that basically falls in failing to be honest and direct with respectful communication. Sometimes not even being an active listener. Sometimes you be rambling and you're not even talking about nothing. You be like, damn, what are you talking about? Sometimes you're like, man, what are you talking about? So you're just talking in circles. So be direct. That's important. Diamonds. Indirect resistance or sarcasm. You try to use a shield for the real gem. You try to mask the real gem. But really, your main thing is, what is the money situation looking like? What is the economics? What is the value proposition? And then spades, you're really looking to see if the person's living their true purpose. What do they believe? Are they threatening or blaming or gaslighting? Are they doing any of that stuff? Because if they are, listen, you need to find somebody else. Okay. But these are just healthy communication versus unhealthy communication, right? All right. The role of the community /tribe /jurisdiction, right? When you have covenant keepers who are the trusted covenant keepers, tribal ministers, and cosmology advisors, they understand what the purpose of why the couple is in a relationship or courting or in a marriage. They understand what the whole purpose behind it is. So they're not going to come with this biased mindset of like, oh, he did you wrong. Well, go ahead, leave him. Hold on, what happened? First of all, get the full story. Obviously, things happen, but if they're committed, they can work through it. And the idea is to see the silver lining, right? But sometimes people are not a good fit, but that has to be discussed up front. When you're on the back end, when there's children involved, sometimes it's like, okay, all right, how are we going to manage this? Because you got children involved. So stuff and keep in mind, that's what the trusted company keepers, tribal leaders in the tribe are for, and then cosmology advisors, right? The whole point is that it's supposed to be offering wisdom, support, because they have the experience. You know, what you don't want to be doing sometimes is you don't want to be taking advice from people who ain't even been like in a committed relationship, committed courtship, or even married, right? Like they have or cohabitation. They don't even know. Man, I'm dealing with this person. I'm living with them. They're like, I ain't never lived with nobody. So you got to pay attention to that stuff. Again, these people are supposed to keep you both accountable, and they provide a perspective that is, objective, and they want the best for everybody is the whole point. So getting cosmology readings to provide insight, having, being part of the DOS, SOS, that's key. That's important. You're also seeking people who have, seek people who have healthy relationships themselves or have relationships that you strive to have yourself in general, right? You don't want to be dealing with people who, again, they don't have what you're looking for. If there's a vision that you have in your mind of what you want your relationship to look like, then get counsel from that person. But you can also still get counsel from people who have, been in relationships that just didn't work out per se. So long as this doesn't come from a place of bitterness or resentment and stuff like that, it just comes from a place of wisdom. Like there's offering you counsel, like make sure that you do X, Y, Z first, right? You don't want jaded perspective clouding your judgment, because that's how you get stuff like this, right? I know you're like, Coach, I'm getting tired of seeing this person. This is how you get this when you get cloud of judgment.
Catherine, why'd you end up popping your balloon?
I know you said you're a doctor, and I think that's great.
All right. I know y'all getting tired of that. Here's some of the common challenges I've seen too from people in relationships. Pressure, meaning they're forced to make a decision because they weren't prepared to even make a decision. So it feels like they're being rushed to jump into a relationship, or rushed to jump into a courtship, rushed to jump into a marriage. Look, if you were committed, you knew this is what you wanted to do, it wouldn't feel pressure. Like you're moving on your accord, your own time frame. Because you've thought this out. You've had a plan. Y'all talked about it. You were transparent. You weren't confused. And plus, you got time to, it gives you time to discern compatibility in cosmology, right? Some people overall just the fear of commitment. They're like, man, I got to be committed to somebody. That means I can't go nowhere. I can't do things. No, you can't. Sometimes people are fear of rejection. They're afraid of rejection. And that's key. Some people are just afraid of rejection. But when you have clarity is kindness. So when you give people clarity and they give you clarity, that's kindness in itself. It's better to know that somebody is not interested in you than hope that somebody is interested in for you to finally find out that they're not interested in you, or to wait on that person to be finally interested in you. Like, it's better to know that somebody is not interested in you at that point, because you're hoping, and hope is not a strategy, right? And then culture and family differences. That's important too, right? Some of y'all are dabbling into the places where I'm like, hey, man. Hell no. Y'all dabbling in places that I'm like, hey, man. I don't know if you want to do all that. But some of y'all, it's cool. The decision you made is the decision you made. But so just make sure that you're discussing these things openly and respectfully, right? Bring up the upbringings, because there's going to be some differences and all that, and then the family dynamics. Bring up the tribe, Arna, if you're national. I always tell people like that. That's the first thing. This is the tribal government for Black people, like point blank. Period. Ain't nobody else building institutions that give y'all a real remedy. So where else are y'all gonna go? Get nationalized, start businesses, y'all. No time like the present. We're gonna get back into economics. I know you're like, man, Kojo, this whole relationship kick you've been on for the past, I know it's been like the whole year. There's a specific reason. So the last 52 days, I will go back into economics because I'm gonna have more energy to do so. But now it's been more of a relationship and just discussing that, being balanced about it, managing relationships and stuff like that. So get your tax exemption, get nationalized if you want to, tell a friend, tell them to watch the videos that we have on Hawab or Arna's YouTube page to give a better insight on what actually is going on, right? And then I always got to promote this because if you can't have a healthy body, you cannot have a healthy relationship. If your mind is not healthy, if your body's not healthy, how can you have a functioning relationship? So make your health a priority. Go to shewaveclinic.com and we'll get it cracking. Speak Cosmo Show. I know y'all like, oh, Lord. So for those who are still here in class, thank y'all for taking the time and just attention. If you have specific questions that you may want to ask, I can put the link in the chat. Put the link in the chat, or you can ask your question. Maybe on a particular card that maybe you have that's a birth card, or yeah, let's just keep it to a birth card for now, unless there's something specific you may want to know about it, or things of that nature. But if you want to come on, maybe you want to discuss, relationship wise or business relationship wise, feel free to come on. Yeah, just let me know. Otherwise, you know what I'm about to do. I will shut down class. We got the God in the building. Peace, God. Can you hear me, God?
Oh, yep, here we go.
Yes, sir. Peace, God.
Peace, God. How you doing?
Man, we doing good, man. We doing good. Got my West Coast fit on today. Oh, man.
Not the West Coast, man.
Looking like Easy in the building. Real talk, But anyway, hopefully you're doing good, guys.
Yes, doing great. Peace, family.
Yo. Any specific questions that y'all have? Don't be shy. Let me know if the link don't work. It should work because that's the same link I just used, and Yogi got on just fine. Just now. You didn't have any issue, right?
No. Yeah, I got on just fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today's your day. If you have clarity, if you want clarity, come now for your free reading. What's that lady's name? I can't remember who that lady is.
You said lady?
It's a lady. Like she would that was her slogan. It was like, call me now for your free reading. Let me see what that.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Call me now for your free reading. Who said that? I need to know who said that. It was Miss Cleo. Thank you, Miss Cleo. Thank you, sir. Miss Cleo. Yo, peace, God. You in the building. Peace. Y'all don't have questions? Hey, man, don't let me shut down class. It's been 1 hour. I know y'all like, man, I done suffered through Kojo's, structure. I know. It's not the most favorite. They got a whole documentary. They do.
Oh, man.
Snap.
That's wild.
That's crazy. I swear to God, call me now for your free.
Call me now for your free reading.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yo. Yeah, we do it better than that. So
Right.
said that's what it's called to call me now for your call me now is the documentary name. You're lying now. Nah, it can't be. Nah, hold on. I know y'all like. I know y'all like. Who the fuck are y'all talking about? Let me just share my screen. I have to do that. Let me just. I got to share this real quick, y'all. I swear it's funny, but you tell me if it's not. All right, y'all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
The super young one or the married one? The married one. That's what I thought. Don't go. You hear me? And you know what? You're not listening to me because I see you going. I see you going. I'm just telling you. I'm trying to help you to avoid the heartache. Don't go blindly through life. Let me use the power of the tarot to show you the way. Call me now for your free reading.
I know, y'all. I'm sorry. This is very childish. I know. Let me
Call me now for your free reading.
Let me stay focused. Okay. Or is there hold on, let me read the full question. Is it okay to wear rings for marriage? Or is there another symbol to use for marriage? I mean, that's entirely up to y'all, right? Whether you want to use rings or not. I do. So it's not. I think that also. I think it really just depends on like how personal that item is to y'all, and y'all can craft it if y'all want to. It doesn't have to be a ring per se, right? The whole point is commitment, right? Commitment, longevity. Nobody's going nowhere. People can clearly know, but obviously we're in this world. So the only way people know that you are off the market is the ring, right? So that's why it's just encouraged to use that, just because you don't want people bothering you, even though people still gonna bother you. But at least you weed out half the suckers that are too scared to approach a married person, because there's some people who will approach married persons. They're like, I don't care. I'm gonna shoot my shot until they see that there's a big bear in town, and that person will whoop their ass. Sorry for the rude language, but yes, that is a real thing. So yeah, I say that. So that's up to y'all. You can make your own symbol, so long as it's meaningful to y'all, and y'all know what that means. But I do recommend the ring just because it just wards off the weird people, most of the weird people. Right. What y'all got, man? Y'all ain't got no questions. No questions tonight. Y'all done suffered through election. At least get questions.
You joke.
I know. I'm just trying to have fun tonight, man. Y'all experience getting hit. See, I'm telling you, it don't even matter. They be like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot my shot anyway. And I'm like, damn, man, you brave. You brave, sister. You brave, lady. You brave, brother. And they don't be caring either. And you find out it be your other counterparts outside of the race that be like, yeah, up for market. And you be like, no, what are you talking about? You brave, really, too. Y'all don't want no call me now for your free. That's gonna be that's
gonna be the new slogan.
call me now for your cosmology read. Oh, shoot. Yeah, when they learned about my tent, yeah, they come and start sand burying them people. She will bury them people in the sand. Like, oh, hold on. Mm-mm. I don't want that, man. And then they ate it, and flaming their ass up. So, hey, man, we just have a good time. Y'all don't have questions about cosmology tonight? Y'all don't want me to do what I'm about to do, even though I'm kind of on goofy time right now. Call me now for that free cosmology read. I mean,
you're not listening to me now. She said.
Oh shoot, nah, man. But hopefully y'all got a lot of info. Y'all don't have questions about class and material. The material. All right, let me go to pull up something real quick. I just have a question for the tribe. Who done the bride? Who's done a bride price agreement? Like I'm just curious. Who's done one? Put a 1 in the chat if you done one. Some type of agreement, that you pay an offer. Let me go ahead and let me do this real quick. Yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, like, it's not a bad thing. The whole point is just it's a mode of like, okay, that is for the family or for the bride, and it's for these conditions, right? And it shows that you're committed, shows that you're not going nowhere, that this is not a joke, this is not a game, that type of stuff. So, who's done one? Who else has done one? Put a 1 in the chat if you've done one. Who's too afraid to do one? Put a 2 in the chat. Go ahead. We can talk about that if you're afraid. And you can call. Hold on, let me read that. And you can call for your free cosmology reading why you're afraid, and then we'll give you clarity. But who's done one seriously though? Bride price. Who's heard of it? If you ain't heard of it, put a 3 in the chat. You didn't know it was a thing. We got some scared people tonight, Yogi. Got some scared people tonight. And that's okay. Anything you wanted to add, God? Let me take this off the screen.
To add, I don't know. You hit every point, really. Yeah, you hit every point. I guess for cosmology, I do. Constance ain't nobody else. No.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Peace, family. I'm 44 this year. What's the significance of the 52-day being 4 of hearts?
4 of heart.
5, 6, 7, 8 heart in a row this year.
I don't know what that last part means.
I don't either. Do you mean like there's like 5, 6, 7, 8 hearts in a row that year, or like could you clarify that last part, God? But the 4 hearts is going to surround around your family. So it's going to be family related. You're going to be family related for the most part. So it could be your children, your significant other, or somebody that you're courting. But the thing, you want to be careful of is you don't want to be embracing dysfunction with the 4 hearts, because you could overlook dysfunction within your family. And he says, I think he's talking about the 44th. Oh, okay. So he's talking about the 44th. Well, no, I mean that.
Oh, I guess he mean let's see, 44 plate. Oh yeah, basically what you asked, like it being all those hearts in the Mercury row and the Venus row. So I mean initially you're gonna be dealing with, heart energy for the most part. If like your card is going through all those 52 days, because you said, your 4 of hearts is one of your 52-day cards, so that means you're gonna be dealing, Coach already described it, the family. The next one, whatever the heart is, if it's a 5 of hearts, you're gonna be dealing with
innovative with love.
Yeah, innovative with love, vacation. You just gotta watch out for like divorces, unexpected breakups. And then you got a lot of hearts. I mean, the significance is just preparing yourself for more so. If you was looking to make money this year, it's going to come through relationships. It's going to come through heart energy. It's not going to really be a diamond thing where you just mark it. It's going to be more of a heart-centered thing, gravitating people towards you, being in those relationships, etc.
Yeah, so I can give you an example what that actually means, God. What Yogi was saying is true. So I have this year, Kojo's year has been nothing but relationships and managing relationships. So that's why y'all be seeing like this year I've been talking about nothing about relationships. Everything's been about relationships and not money. I know y'all see me, y'all be like, man, Kojo got a lot of money. And that's right. Keep thinking that because that's the character card. But it's been all nothing but relationships. And that's how I've been, dealing with everything is by either fixing old relationships or maintaining relationships or, building new relationships and being careful about how I'm bridging the gap within those pools. So it's just been nothing about, it's just always been about building relationships, and that's how I'm going to get to the next level. So you're just going to be doing a lot of people managing. Your emotions are going to be like in the waves. So keep it at a good, even keel, right? Don't let nobody don't let nobody excite you. Like you're like, oh man, like this person is like, oh, be the greatest thing since sliced. No, stay calm. Stay calm. You don't know until they show you. So build those relationships nice and smooth, the way it's supposed to go. Let it flow the way it needs to flow. Otherwise, keep doing what you're supposed to do. But really, it sounds like it's gonna be intricate with your family too. At least for the first part. So make sure that all your relationships with your family are solid, and that there's nothing dysfunctional that you're letting go under the rug or under the pool. So hopefully that helps. You want this one, guy? Oh, hold on. What you say? Yo, piece of the guy. What's the experience like paying a bride price? How was the wedding? Well, first of all, you need the money. Let's start there. Like we go back to that Maslow's hierarchy. Listen, you need the money. So you as a man should have stacking your bread where you have resources. And I know you being I believe it's a $4. Is it $4? I'm trying to remember. I think it was a diamond though. I know you had a diamond somewhere. Whether it be a 4 or a 5, I can't remember. But I think it's 4. So, but let me not misquote you. But the point is, you need the resources is the key thing. And then once you have the resources, you can put what you want to put up front, or you can say, "Let me split it out in payments over time." But you always know you're gonna get this money, and it's gonna go to a specific place for you, and that's for you or your family, however you arrange the situation. But the experience is it's transparent. It's supposed to be transparent. Because really, it's like, okay, what happens when, let's say y'all been married for like 8 years or whatever the case is, and you go unexpectedly, whatever the reason. Okay, well, one, you've done what we've talked about in class. You have a life insurance policy and you got that stuff situated, but also you have some readily available cash that she has access to that's hers, that she can go and do what she needs to do to make sure everything is straight with the kids and y'all's family, right? That's really the whole point. Some people are very wishy-washy about relationships and commitment, that they don't want to make payment. You always will pay. Front end or back end? Which one do you want? So it's really supposed to be a healthy process where you decide that this is what the payment you're going to do. Put it in writing. Hold yourself accountable to it. That's it. It's no big deal. So hopefully that answers that question. Any thoughts on that, guy?
On that part, I haven't done the brides, so I don't have. But I guess that come from the one thing we do learn in the tribal birth work classes, what the focus before enter relationships, the man focus on his masculinity and economics, and then the woman focus on her femininity and economics. And so, of course, I'm speaking from the 7 of diamonds, king of diamonds, mine too, but it's definitely so I definitely do got thoughts on it. Just making sure economics is there, and then of course, just to put the attention on the class itself, just the attentions part of when entering the courtship. For diamonds, we gotta make sure we see. We're gonna want to see the value. It's worth getting into it. Do that person know their value and their worth? Because that could be annoying to us. Like, they don't know their worth, and then we just trying to dig. Some people dig, trying to get that person to see them. You don't see the worth. I'm like 8 feet under right now. So, so you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that spades. Like you said, like Coach already said, do that person know their purpose too? And it kind of ties into the worth thing too, value, and do they know their worth? Like, do you know your purpose and what you want to do in life? You know what I mean? And then if you got a diamond and a spade, you looking at a person, trying to court someone, he's like, yo, do you see the worth in the purpose you got in front of you? You know what I mean? Career, your passion, etc. So that's from the diamond and spade mind. But I would definitely say, when enter relationships, and I just did a reading today talking about that, a relationship reading. You know what I mean? Like, do y'all got attentions? Make sure y'all flow correctly. You know what I mean? Just understanding each other's nature too. That's also why the cosmology is important, because the Shabazz formula is, you know what I mean, you want to make sure, you have the same elements. And of course, the caveat is, if you don't have the same elements, it can still work. It'll just be a uphill battle. But initially, you want to have the same elements, and initially Mars mutual or Venus mutual. Or if you leveled up and you just know the pure attention, you got the same elements, you could throw in the Jupiter mutual too, because they carry out great business together. But initially you want that because you want to respect the person's nature. If you're a diamond or a spade and you give somebody who's a club, you like, man, they talk a lot. They talk all goddamn day. And I'm just trying to get into my cave space. I'm trying to get into they want to talk. You know what I mean? So you gotta understand that person's nature, because you can't take them out of their nature. You ain't gonna, you can't just isolate them So let's stay with that. Say big fast. I'm a $4 his space. Yeah, you know a guy. You know what it is.
Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. Definitely challenges with relationships, faded karmic events, faith in relationships, where again bullied. Yep. Okay, so I was right. $4. Okay, I was like, man, sometimes I'd be. It was a national who asked me. He said, "Oh, you remember my card?" Yes. Sometimes when I do y'all's one time, I'll be having to convert that to memory because I'm like, I need to respect your nature. Because you ever see somebody like, you ever see a heart try to love bomb a spade? They're like, what are you doing, man? Like, I'm not interested in that. Like, are you on your purpose? Do you even know your purpose? Are you lazy? Like, that's what a spade is looking at when you trying to love, when the heart is love bombing. It's like, yeah, you trying to, and they're like, man, you trying to put out my flame, man. Get that water, you misting up my fire. So that's what I mean by like you when you understand the person's nature. That's why I be remembering y'all's cards. So I have to respect y'all's nature. It's a big fact. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I respect the nature. No water over there. You know what I mean? What are the questions y'all got, y'all? Any specific questions that we missed, or maybe you want to come on the show? Don't forget what this is. This is the Speed Cosmos show. There's many purposes for it, so I just have to make sure that y'all know. But y'all can definitely come on. We can talk business. We can talk bison. We can talk. We don't say we talk turkey. We talk bison. And we can get down with the get down. And you can call now, right, for your free cosmology. Right? This is the tagline for the night. Call me now. Hey man, we having a good time tonight. We having a good time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What else? What else y'all got? Y'all ain't got no questions? Anything you want to throw out? 2 minutes to Yogi. That was
Oh, yeah, I could do so. Oh, I do want because Ali did put it out. So now his post he did put out. He said for 4th of July, be careful of large crowds and traveling, road travel, especially if it's very long distance. Because he got to I haven't yet, but he looked well actually no, I did. So got to look at the US chart for his week. His symbolic birthday is coming up, July the 4th, as we know. And they do have a 6 of spades crown card, but oh man, that's just segment we ain't doing. Cosmic news, breaking news.
we ain't done that. Hold on, we ain't done that in a minute.
I just thought I was yeah, it's a cosmic news break segment right here.
Oh, damn. Hit that. All right, y'all know it.
So the US do have a 6 of spades and 8 of spades crown card for their week and a year, because obviously it's their birthday, so week and the year is on the same plate. So that means that energy is fates, traps, judgments coming, things of that nature. 8 of spades can represent court, legal situations, law enforcement, things of that nature. And so obviously we could correlate, July 4th, basically holiday, they're gonna be drinking on the road, they're gonna be wilding. And then of course, you need to be careful in any large crowd gatherings, especially with obviously what's going on in the political arena too. That's why it's important to, pay attention to politics as well. Because you may be around certain large crowd of a group, I would say, and things can transpire that doesn't necessarily involve you, but you there at the wrong time, wrong place. So need to be very mindful of that. And not only that, July the 4th, the United States actually is on a 9 of spades too. It's actually most, it's on the actual 9 of spades. I don't remember the support card, but look, the 9 of spades alone is like, all right.
That's
look, need to chill out. You got the uncle that still think he got the basketball shot. He done had a couple of beers. Like, they tell him to chill out if you do gather in a family setting, because a lot of heated energy may transpire on July the 4th. So just be careful, be aware. And, if you need to, you can consult with any cosmologist, Brother Sidney, me, She Wave Clinic, the Kojo, She Wave Clinic. And yeah, get those readings.
Yeah, that's spot on, because I remember, I think it was like 3 years ago, in this neighborhood, people who came to my first house know, but it was like two families that came over to the person's house, and they were having a good time, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, person gets stabbed, dies. Police tape, the yellow tape, man, they blocked out that whole block because murder took place in that house. And it was on a holiday weekend, and it was like on the Ace of Spades for me. And it was next door. So I was not there that weekend. But it can happen, and it was over an argument. It was like an argument, and the next thing you know, somebody brought out a knife, and that was it. Stabbed that person. That person's dead. Gone. Finished. Finito.
Crazy, bro. You gotta be real careful. I just seen a news article. Nigga stabbed somebody because he took his honey bun out the refrigerator. Damn, not you stab somebody on a little Debbie cake. Like, I don't.
The honey bun.
The honey bun.
Was it the honey bun with the icing?
It must have been because Sam's my over the honey bun. So you dealing. Social media is showing like look 90% of the world got I mean it show they eat shit. They ain't on the indigenous food science. So you're dealing with the people with a lot of mental issues. So be careful out there, because boy,
Yeah, you right. Yeah, man, you just brought up an important point. Yeah, be careful because people got foreign substances taking over their mind and body. Like, you ever seen somebody with that twitch? they like they on that food that is like got parasites in them, right? They're like, I remember trying to explain that to a person on the plane, and they were like, "Man, I ain't got no parasites." I said, "You don't have any parasites, and you eating pork? Does anyone know what's in pork? Parasites,
right?
Worms. Yes, you
Right.
have them inside you." Hold on, what you say? I mean, the sheets in a row is taking.
You too crazy.
Hey, them things be hidden. I don't make them often. You know what I mean? Except for special occasions and stuff like that.
Hey, look, I seen a brother at the powwow. He had 10 of them joints on his plate. I said,
"Oh shoot, that was funny."
yeah.
That's important though. Just be aware. Be mindful of July 4th. Very, very, very important. Men should have all their stuff in order. So have your firearms, have your knives, have your protection, everything in gear. Have your extra food resources. I know you're like, "Ooh, Coach, you ain't talked about that in a minute." I know. I'm not going to talk about it until, hold on, let me check my calendar. My calendar will tell me when I'll start talking about it. I think it's in August. Yeah, I think it's August. August, I'll go back to talking about that. But till then, relationships. Y'all gonna get so tired of it. And I'm like, thank God he going back to Diamond. Because that's all we know him as. Diamond. Money. Where's the money, Kojo? Because, okay, let me talk a little bit about the Diamond. I can't get away. Listen, y'all seen what they doing, right? So, like, they've been passing all these bills, right? In Texas, they've literally made gold legal tender. What does that tell you? Not only that, the big beautiful bill, trillions of dollars is about to be fabricated out of thin air. Quantitative easing to the highest degree. So you need money or resources or something because it's about to get crazy. It's about to get wild. Not only that, you need to be utilizing blockchain to acquire assets. Like, and you'd be like, yeah, isn't that an asset? It is. It's a digital asset, but you should take some of those digital assets and then buy real assets like land, property, those things. You can't go wrong with that, right? But yeah, gold and silver. Yeah, I remember seeing. I think it was. I don't remember if it was gold and silver, but I do remember gold being legal tender in Texas. I remember seeing that. I was like, man, this is crazy. Inflation. I don't know if it's going to be hyperinflation, but I just know like inflation is high, and people aren't hiring like this, like they claim, like the jobs market. I think the jobs number came out. It was like they're overwhelming a lot of jobs, but they're hiring at a slow pace. See, I can't stop talking about economics, but I'm gonna stop now because let's go back to these relationships. Because listen, y'all, if y'all relationship is not whole, hold on. He said, just saying, they on point. Hey, yeah, man, go ahead. We got you. We got you, man. We make sure they good, man. But we need to make sure y'all relationships are on point. Y'all's business relationships are on point. Y'all's courtship relationships are on point. That way y'all can move as units and just start taking over these things like on a ninja-like style. You know what I mean? It's like nobody even noticed that it was coming until it happened. And plus, y'all happy. Y'all having a good time. That's I start living in some interesting places where I'll be talking to y'all. I'll be like, man, I would never live there. In the sense of like how y'all put yourselves in that prison. And like y'all don't express what needs to be expressed. Y'all don't be saying what you really want. And it's like, man, I can't even do it, man. Oh, won't do it. Nope.
We
What y'all want? What y'all want today? Y'all trying to come on online? Don't tell me the link ain't working today.
working. They can come online.
Don't tell me the link ain't working today. It's working.
Show y'all faces.
Show y'all's faces. You know what I mean? Call now for your cosmology reading. I'm not gonna let this one go, y'all. Unless y'all want to go home tonight. Don't make me play the music. I will play the music. They just tokenized the country. Did they really? Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that. A whole county, bro. People think that this is a game. Like when they said they're about to make this the crypto capital of the world, it's happening in real time. It's been happening very slowly, but now it's moving in a wave. Like you got to think about it. You got the Trump family that has literally made billions of dollars off of tokenization by having his own exchange, having his own meme tokens within the family, like, and then having a ETF cryptocurrency. Like y'all, if y'all don't see what's happening, he's taking the path of like, yo, we using this crypto, and then we're gonna utilize it to buy other things.
Yep. Hey.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So yeah. Pay attention. We're gonna talk a lot about that stuff, y'all. I know y'all like, man, can we hurry up and talk about that, Kojo? I do want to make sure I say this stuff because, like, here's the thing: when you have code, when you have honor, also honor, but it prevents you from doing goofy shit. I've been seeing a lot of goofy shit for the past 10 years. I'm like, man, this shit's getting out of hand. When you have code, you have honor, you have honor, you won't do weird stuff. It prevents your heart from doing weird stuff. Because you know there's codes, you know there's rules, and you're gonna oblige by those things. You're not gonna go outside that box because it's like, yeah, that's goofy stuff.
Right.
And your heart won't allow you to do that. But if you live in a balanced way, you're like, man, I don't have to abide by no code or rules and nothing like that. That's why you see all the goofy stuff happening. So, and that same thing applies in your relationships. Like, I'm telling y'all get married. Hear me and hear me well. If I'm not acting as a counsel, leadership role, or covenant keeper, I should not be hearing what's happening in your marriage from somebody else down the street that doesn't have your best interest.
Right.
That's the key component. Doesn't have your best interest. So anyway, just a little rant for the day. I think we wrapping it up tonight. It looked like y'all like, not feeling it tonight, Kojo, Yogi. You know, appreciate y'all brothers, but we gonna call it hold on, before you get to it, we gonna call it but hopefully that was helpful, y'all. You can go always watch this video again. The whole point is that we need to set the rules and parameters for courtship to always remind people that there is a space for that, especially in Arna, that facilitates all that it does not always have to be the way the world is depicting relationships to be, where it's like, men are no good, bitches ain't shit, niggas ain't shit. Like that's a Babylon world, bro. Like, and that shit is burning fast, hard, crashing. Like we're not even supporting that. What we're talking about is a place where people get together on intention, purpose, for specific lineages moving forward. All right. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You have the space for it's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. You're still friends at the end of the day.
Right.
So know where you're going. Otherwise, you'll crash into a icicle that you didn't even know was on the horizon because you're not paying attention. You're not directing your ship. So on that note, I know y'all not interested in that free reading, but we're gonna be doing this again. So be on the lookout for a free reading because it's gonna be next class again, and we're gonna have the opportunity. Y'all have the space. Y'all can come in and share what y'all want to share to get a little bit of insight. Maybe you want insight on the marriage process. Maybe you want insight of like how does the trust work as a couple. Maybe you want insight on like what does a cosmology reading look like, or what does a cosmology session look like for a couple? What does polygyny look like for a couple? What does monogamy look like? What does a contract look like? You can get those questions. Or what does it look like to be single and you want to find somebody? We could talk about that too. Maybe you just want to understand your energy. We can help you. So, you have anything to add, Chief Minister Yogi?
You hit every point. I mean, I guess life is like a Rubik's Cube.
Hold on, man. That man hit me with that Rubik's Cube.
And so you just keep, till you solve each color for the side you prioritize, right? And eventually you get all the colors. Then you move to the next level, you mix it all up again, you solve it all again.
Yo, that's funny. I'm sorry. I did not mean to laugh, man. But
No, you good.
that was clever. Yeah, I was not expecting the Rubik's Cube. But yes, he's right. So keep that in mind. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all's time and attention for tonight. If I've said something that offended you, it does not mean I am trying to be rude. I'm just trying to lay out a fundamental principle that I think works. And we've seen it work. So if you have any questions, go to walka.fun. Hey, I need a 52. For those who was asking about the 52-day reading, walka.fun. He's like, Kojo, can't you? I'm like, hey, man, I ain't got the time. I'm sitting right over the Yogi. Or send me. It doesn't matter. Masteroftheelements.com.
Yep.
So, or free.
Free hairs.
Yeah, free hairs. Life.
Yeah, HERRS.com.
Yeah, thank you. I would be forgetting. It always comes back in full circle. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Everything does. So, be prepared. Next class, we're gonna talk about relationships again. So, but it'll be in a different angle. And it'll be somebody different other than me. I think it should be somebody different. If not, you'll see us again. So, appreciate y'all's attention, family, and we'll see y'all next week in class. So, peace, family.
Peace, fam.
Out here.